Gentlemen, it's no mystery that some men seem to glide through life effortlessly attracting women. These are not just handsome guys or rich guys, they're often men who have unlocked something far more powerful. They tap directly into the fantasies women rarely speak out loud. These are psychological triggers embedded in the female psyche and playboys. They exploit them with precision. Women are emotional creatures by nature, and one of the fantasies that many of them are subconsciously drawn to is the emotional roller coaster, a dynamic that stirs intense feelings, unpredictability, and excitement. This doesn't mean being toxic or playing with someone's heart maliciously. Rather, it's about introducing just enough unpredictability to awaken her curiosity and emotional investment. The playboy understands this very well. He knows that when a woman can't predict his next move, when she can't easily label him or put him in a box, she starts to think about him constantly. That mystery, that edge of uncertainty, keeps her emotionally engaged. See, most men try to win women over by being overly available, constantly texting, over-communicating, and proving how much they like her. While that might seem like the nice or honest approach, it often backfires. When there's no tension, no mystery, and no element of surprise, the interaction becomes flat. Predictability kills attraction. The human mind thrives on uncertainty when it comes to desire. Think about gambling. People become addicted not because they always win, but because they might win. That uncertainty is addictive. The same psychological trigger is at play here. The woman doesn't know exactly what he's feeling, what he'll say next, or if he'll call. That makes her lean in. That makes her invest. The playboy doesn't bombard her with validation. He offers small doses. He gives her attention and then he pulls back. He might spend an incredible night with her, making her feel like the center of the universe, only to go silent for a couple of days. Not out of manipulation, but because he's genuinely busy or simply not seeking her validation. That space creates a void, and women, emotionally driven, try to fill that void with thoughts of him. They replay the night. They wonder why he hasn't called. They start to crave his attention, not because he begged for it, but because he removed it. Women are not attracted to neutrality. They're attracted to feeling something. Whether it's excitement, mystery, jealousy, or desire, emotions fuel attraction. A man who's always nice and consistent might be good relationship material on paper, but he often doesn't arouse deep desire. The man who creates an emotional experience, whether it's through teasing, unpredictability, or even light tension, becomes memorable. He's the one she tells her friends about, the one she thinks about when she lies in bed, the one she can't quite figure out. This is why the playboy doesn't need to beg, prove, or chase. He simply triggers the female emotional system by being unpredictable in a way that feels thrilling, not unsafe. He isn't always available. He doesn't always give answers. He might cancel plans. He might flirt with other women. All of these things activate a sense of competition, curiosity, and emotional friction. And once those emotions are ignited, logic takes a back seat. A woman will justify his behavior to her friends. She'll excuse things she normally wouldn't, because what she's chasing isn't the man himself. It's the feeling he makes her experience. And the emotional roller coaster is a feeling most men don't know how to deliver. It's the unpredictability that keeps her locked in, the tension between certainty and doubt. The fact that one moment she feels like she owns his attention and the next moment he's slipping through her fingers. It's frustrating, it's intoxicating, and for many women it's deeply addictive. She doesn't consciously choose it. Her emotions do, and that's why the man who understands this dynamic doesn't need to try hard. He becomes the fantasy by simply knowing how to make her feel alive. There's a deep and primal fantasy that many women carry within them, whether they acknowledge it or not. The fantasy of being dominated by a man who is calm, confident, and entirely in control. This isn't about control in an abusive or oppressive sense. It's about a kind of leadership that makes her feel safe enough to relax into her femininity. It's the fantasy of surrender, not out of weakness, but because the man before her is so grounded, so certain, so composed, that she wants to let go. The playboy understands this fantasy on a psychological level, and he knows exactly how to embody the energy that makes it come alive. Most men are afraid of leading. They hesitate, they second-guess themselves, they ask too many questions, and in doing so, they inadvertently place the emotional burden on the woman to steer the connection. That doesn't spark desire. That makes her feel like she has to hold the frame, like she's the one making decisions and managing energy. And while some women will do that out of necessity, it rarely triggers the part of her that longs to feel overwhelmed, in the best possible way, by a masculine presence that's unapologetically in charge. Playboys don't ask, "Is this okay?" every 5 minutes. They don't over-explain their intentions. They don't dilute their moves with nervous disclaimers. Instead, they decide. They pick the place. They guide the moment. They touch with intent, not hesitation. Their tone of voice is slow and grounded. Their posture is relaxed but assertive. They're not trying to impress her. They are inviting her into their world, and that is powerful. Because in that moment, she doesn't feel like she has to perform. She doesn't feel like she has to lead. She gets to feel to let go of control and be taken on an emotional and physical ride led by someone who knows exactly what he's doing. This dominance isn't loud. It's not aggressive or in your face. It's subtle. It's in the way he holds eye contact without flinching, the way he stands close without apologizing for it, the way he touches her lower back as they walk, directing her path without asking. These are micro signals that speak volumes. They say, "I know who I am, I know what I want, and I don't need your permission to be that man." And women on a visceral level respond to that. Their guard comes down. Their breath slows. Their energy softens. It's not that she wants to be controlled. It's that she wants to feel like she can trust someone enough to surrender. In a world where many women are forced to be in their masculine energy-making decisions, chasing careers, setting boundaries, a man who confidently holds the masculine frame becomes a breath of fresh air. He doesn't compete with her. He complements her. And in doing so, he awakens something ancient and instinctive. Her desire to submit willingly to the presence of a man who knows how to lead with strength and care. The playboy doesn't use force. He uses certainty. He isn't emotionally reactive. If she tests him, he doesn't flinch. If she tries to shake his frame, he remains centered. That's dominance. Not the need to overpower, but the ability to stay rooted when others are trying to unbalance you. That kind of inner control is magnetic. She may test him at first, say something sarcastic, question his decisions, flirt with unpredictability. But when she sees that it doesn't rattle him, when she sees that he isn't thrown off by her games, that's when her respect deepens. That's when her attraction ignites. What makes this dynamic so potent is that it allows her to experience polarity. the powerful energetic dance between masculine and feminine, and polarity is the essence of sexual tension. When she feels that he can take the lead emotionally, conversationally, and physically, she begins to relax into the moment. Her mind stops racing. Her defenses begin to drop, and from that place, her desire flows freely. It's the way he looks at her when she talks, like he's undressing her with his eyes but saying nothing. It's the way he grabs her hand, firmly but gently, and leads her across the room. It's the way he tells her, "We're leaving," without a question mark, and she follows because in that moment his energy says he knows what's next. That's not manipulation. That's masculine leadership. That's dominance in its most seductive form. Not imposed, but invited and accepted. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who doesn't follow the rules, a man who lives on his own terms, does what he wants without seeking approval, and seems untouched by the opinions of others. This is the forbidden fantasy. It's the fantasy of stepping outside the boundaries of what's safe, what's expected, what's conventional. And this is exactly the type of energy the playboy channels so effortlessly. He embodies rebellion, not in a childish or destructive way, but in a way that signals to women that he is free, free from social conditioning, free from shame, free from needing validation, and that freedom is intoxicating. Most men are conditioned to be good boys, to follow the script, to say the right things, do what they're told, and play it safe. They fear rejection, so they stay in the lines. They suppress their raw masculinity, their primal energy, in hopes of being liked. But the playboy, he leans into that edge. He doesn't try to be palatable. He doesn't try to be politically correct just to win favor. He may not even try to be liked at all. Instead, he presents himself as he is, flaws, shadows, and all. And paradoxically, that's exactly what draws women to him. Because he gives her permission to feel something she doesn't normally feel, danger wrapped in charisma. The rule breaker creates a contrast to the ordinary. He's not the guy you bring home to mom, at least not right away. He's the guy you meet on a night that feels like a movie, the one you sneak away with at midnight, the one who texts you something bold and unapologetic and makes your heart race because it's so unexpected. He pushes boundaries, not just societal but personal. He makes her question her own limits. Would I really do this? Am I really going to meet him tonight? Why do I feel this way about someone I barely know? That tension between right and wrong, between rationality and desire, creates an emotional high she can't get from the nice guy who follows every rule. He doesn't ask for permission to flirt. He doesn't wait for a green light to express desire. He sees a moment and he seizes it. That spontaneity triggers her sense of adventure. Women often live under a heavy cloak of expectations. Be polite, be proper, be in control. But with him, she can let go. She can be wild, reckless, impulsive, and that freedom is rare. Most people try to suppress that side of themselves. The playboy brings it to the surface. He awakens her inner rebel, her inner seductress, her inner rule breaker, and that's why she finds herself doing things with him that she wouldn't even consider with anyone else. This isn't about being bad for the sake of rebellion. It's about being authentic, even if that authenticity goes against the grain. It's about being unapologetically masculine in a world that often tells men to soften every edge. The playboy doesn't shrink himself to fit in. He expands, he provokes, he challenges the script. And when a woman encounters that kind of unapologetic masculinity, it disrupts her worldview in a good way. It pulls her out of the mundane and into the unknown, and it's in that unknown where fantasies thrive. She might say she wants stability, predictability, a man with a 10-year plan, and maybe she does for the long term. But when it comes to raw, uninhibited desire, it's not the planner who ignites her. It's the wild card, the one she can't quite predict, the one who makes her feel like she's breaking her own rules just by being around him. That's the man she dreams about when she's alone. That's the man she texts late at night when she's feeling impulsive. That's the man who lingers in her thoughts days after he's gone, not because he tried so hard to please her, but because he triggered something deep and forbidden within her. This energy can't be faked. It has to be lived. The playboy doesn't pretend to be rebellious. He actually lives by his own code, and that authenticity is what makes it real. He may not fit into society's ideal mold, but that's what makes him attractive. He's unpredictable, unfiltered, and untamed. And women are drawn to that because it offers something they can't find in the safe, well-behaved, emotionally neutered men around them. When she's around him, she feels the thrill of getting away with something. She feels like she's cheating on the version of herself she presents to the world, and that is precisely the allure. It's not just about sex, it's about escape, escape from routine, escape from expectation, escape from control. He becomes the living embodiment of the what-if, the fantasy of danger without destruction, rebellion without ruin. And when that energy is combined with charm, presence, and emotional intelligence, it becomes a drug. And once she's had a taste, she'll crave it again, even if she tries to deny it, even if she knows it's not good for her, because deep down she doesn't want what's good. She wants what makes her asterisk feel alive. Asterisk, one of the most underestimated and rarely discussed female fantasies, is the desire to be asterisk seen asterisk, not just looked at, but deeply understood and emotionally undressed. This isn't about surface-level compliments or generic affirmations. It's about a man who pays such close attention that he notices the things she hides from the world, the subtle insecurities, the way she fidgets when she's nervous, the shifts in her tone when she's emotionally guarded. The playboy knows how to read between the lines. He listens not just with his ears, but with his presence, and in doing so, he activates a part of her that craves emotional intimacy, even in the midst of something casual or temporary. Most men are so focused on impressing women that they completely miss the opportunity to witness them. They're talking about themselves, flexing their achievements, pushing for validation. But the playboy is different. He's not rushing to prove anything. He's observing, studying, picking up on her vibe, her rhythm, her emotional layers. And when he speaks, it's not empty flattery. It's tailored, specific, penetrating. He might say something like, "You act like you're confident, but there's something guarded behind your eyes." And in that moment, she freezes, not because she's offended, but because she feels seen asterisk. And to a woman, being truly seen is erotic. This goes deeper than compliments. It's about a man who makes her feel like there's nowhere to hide. A man who understands that beneath her curated appearance, there's a real, complex woman. One who wants to be known without having to explain everything. When she's with him, she doesn't feel like she has to perform. She doesn't have to act tougher or more put together than she really is. She can let parts of herself slip out, and instead of being judged or dismissed, she feels accepted, understood. even desired for those imperfections. The playboy uses this awareness to create emotional intimacy rapidly. He knows how to ask the kind of questions that go beyond surface-level chatter. He's not interested in what she does for work unless it reveals something about who she really is. He wants to know what excites her, what scares her, what she dreams about when no one's watching. He wants to know what made her heart harden, what cracks still remain in her armor, and when she answers, whether fully or in fragments, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't try to fix her, he just holds the space, and that kind of emotional safety is rare. There's also a sensual layer to this kind of attentiveness, because when a man sees her so deeply on an emotional level, it makes physical intimacy exponentially more powerful. He knows where to touch, not just on her body, but on her soul. He knows how to mirror her breathing, how to move at her pace, how to read her signals without words. He can sense when she's tense or when she's letting go, and that creates a feeling of being fully enveloped, not just physically, but emotionally. It's a level of presence most men never reach, because they're too caught up in their own desire to get something instead of giving an experience. And the irony is, the playboy might not even be trying to create a deep connection. He may not be offering a relationship. He may be passing through her life like a wave, but the impression he leaves is unforgettable, because most women go years without feeling genuinely seen. They're told they're beautiful, sexy, smart, but no one notices the emotional architecture that holds all of that together. No one pauses long enough to look her in the eye and say, "I see what you're not saying." But he does. And that moment of recognition, that's where the fantasy lives. She may never admit it out loud. She may act like she's just having fun, like it's just a fling. But internally, she's tethered to that experience, because it made her feel something she rarely gets to feel. Not just desired, but understood. And understanding is the most seductive force in the world when it's real. It bypasses logic, it bypasses social roles, and it hits straight to the emotional core. That's why she keeps thinking about him, why she keeps wondering how he knew what to say, why, even after the moment has passed, she replays the conversations in her head. It's not just that he touched her body, it's that he touched something inside her that no one else dared to explore. The playboy doesn't need to shout his insight. He doesn't brag about how emotionally intelligent he is. He lets his actions speak. He notices the silence after she laughs. He picks up on the stories she avoids. He sees the way her eyes drop when someone brings up a topic too close to her heart. He connects the dots, and slowly, without pressure, he gets her to open up, to share, to reveal, not because she has to, but because she wants to. Because with him, vulnerability feels like seduction, and that kind of connection is far more addictive than physical chemistry alone. What makes this dynamic so irresistible is that it's so rare. So few men take the time to understand a woman beyond what's visible. And so, when she finally encounters one who does, it sticks, it lingers, it haunts her in the best way, because he didn't just make her feel sexy, he made her feel known. And for a woman, that is a fantasy that runs deeper than any bedroom scene. It's a desire that's emotional, spiritual, and profoundly intimate. There's a certain allure to unpredictability, an intoxicating magnetism that comes from never knowing exactly what's going to happen next. And this is something playboys understand and master with ease. They don't operate on rigid schedules or predictable routines. They don't make themselves overly available or completely transparent. Instead, they build a mystique around themselves by being just elusive enough to keep her guessing, just spontaneous enough to keep her intrigued. This unpredictability taps directly into a powerful female fantasy, the thrill of uncertainty, the adrenaline rush of emotional risk, and the sweet torment of not knowing what's coming next. Most men today fall into the trap of being too consistent in the wrong way. They're always texting, always calling, always planning, always trying to prove they're reliable. And while consistency is essential in long-term partnerships, it does very little to spark raw desire in the early stages of attraction. Desire is born in the unknown, in the space between interactions, in the anticipation that builds when you're not sure if he's going to reach out, or what he's going to say when he does. The playboy knows this. He understands that too much availability kills intrigue, so he dances just on the edge, close enough to hold her attention, distant enough to keep her chasing. He doesn't let her fully pin him down. One moment, he's fully present, listening deeply, flirting intensely, making her feel like she's the only woman in the world. The next moment, he's gone, not rudely, not abruptly, just vanished into his own life. No over-explaining, no apology, and that absence makes her wonder, what is he doing? Who is he with? Was that moment real? These questions stir something primal inside her, the desire to solve the mystery, to crack the code, to earn another moment of his unpredictable attention. That mental chase becomes as addictive as any physical connection. And unpredictability doesn't just apply to communication. It extends to behavior, energy, and emotional rhythm. One night he's dominant and assertive, taking total control. The next time he's laid back, letting her come to him. He's playful, then serious. He teases, then suddenly gets deeply vulnerable. This emotional layering makes him feel complex, dimensional, like a puzzle with pieces she hasn't quite figured out. And women love puzzles when they're attached to a man who feels real. She doesn't want to be bored. She doesn't want predictable affection or templated conversation. She wants the emotional roller coaster, the ups, the pauses, the sharp turns she didn't see coming. But here's the key difference between a toxic game player and a master of unpredictability: intention. The playboy isn't trying to manipulate. He's simply living life on his terms and inviting her into moments of spontaneity. He might hit her up randomly and say, "Get dressed, I'm picking you up in 20." Or he might go quiet for 2 days, only to send her a voice note saying he had a dream about her that he can't get out of his head. These moments aren't calculated. They're authentic flashes of spontaneity, and that makes them irresistible, because they make her feel chosen, yet uncertain, desired, yet challenged. This dynamic of unpredictability keeps her emotionally engaged. It keeps the story unfolding. In a world where most interactions follow the same tired script, he rewrites the rules. She can't predict how he'll respond. She can't read him like a book, and that makes every interaction feel fresh, alive, real. The same way you never get bored of a good suspense movie, she never gets bored of him, because he keeps her suspended in emotional tension. And tension, when it's romantic and sexual, is the foundation of desire. He's also unpredictable in his attention. He doesn't flood her with constant validation, but when he does give her praise or affection, it hits hard, it feels real, earned. She starts to want those moments more. She starts to try harder, dress differently, bring more of herself to the interaction. just to see if she can spark another unexpected compliment or moment of connection. That's the power of selective attention. It builds value. It makes her feel like his affection isn't given freely. It's *1*. And winning a man's attention is a deeply erotic experience for many women, especially when that man feels like he's not easy to impress. Even in bed, the unpredictability continues. He doesn't follow a formula. He shifts pace, changes rhythm, switches tones. One moment he's rough and commanding, the next he's whispering something unexpectedly tender. He reads the room. He reads her, and because she never knows what's coming next, her anticipation, and therefore her arousals, skyrockets. He doesn't become a routine. He becomes an experience. That experience lingers. Long after he's gone, long after the last text or the last night together, because her mind keeps trying to understand him. She keeps replaying the conversations, the mixed signals, the tension. And even if she tells herself to move on, some part of her is still hooked. Because he didn't fit the mold. He didn't behave like the others. He didn't let her label him or predict him. And that mystery, that elusive energy, that's what makes her imagination go wild. That's what fuels her longing. Because the truth is, many women don't want a man who's easy to figure out. They want one who makes them feel deeply, and unpredictability is one of the fastest ways to do that. Confidence is often praised as the most attractive trait a man can possess. But the kind of confidence that playboys exude isn't loud, performative, or fueled by ego. It's quiet, grounded, and deeply embodied. It's the kind of confidence that says, without a single word, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I don't need anyone's permission to exist. This self-certainty is what makes him stand out, even when he's not trying. It's not about bravado or arrogance. It's about presence. A kind of presence that calms the room while simultaneously creating a magnetic pull toward him. Women feel it immediately. It's in the way he walks, the way he holds eye contact, the way he takes up space without ever needing to demand it. This type of confidence isn't something that's faked. You can't manufacture it with pick-up lines, flashy outfits, or overcompensating behavior. It's developed over time through experiences that shape a man into someone who doesn't flinch under pressure, doesn't second, guess his worth, and doesn't crumble when he's tested. The playboy has often gone through his own trials, heartbreaks, failures, wins, losses, and instead of those experiences breaking him, they refined him. He knows his darkness, he knows his strengths, and because he knows both, he isn't easily shaken. That emotional stability is deeply attractive to women, because it offers a sense of security and groundedness, even in a man who may not be offering a relationship. He doesn't seek approval. He doesn't try to fit into the expectations of others. He's not the type to mold himself into the man she wants. He already is the man he chooses to be, and if she's drawn to that, great. If not, he's not bothered. That neediness is incredibly rare, and that's exactly why it's powerful. So many men base their worth on how women react to them, but the playboy's confidence isn't contingent on external validation. He walks into a room and assumes that he's enough. Not because he's perfect, but because he's real. That kind of raw self-assuredness creates an aura of authority, dominance, and ease that women can't help but respond to. Confidence, in this context, is also about intention. He doesn't move aimlessly. He doesn't waffle in uncertainty. He knows what he wants and he goes for it. with precision without hesitation. Whether it's making a move, starting a conversation, or initiating intimacy, he acts like a man who expects to be received well. And that expectation, that inner certainty, often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because women feel it. They sense that he's not hoping to be chosen. He's choosing her. That subtle difference in energy is what separates the playboy from the countless other men trying to impress her. And then there's the confidence to lead, not just in the traditional sense of making decisions, but in creating experiences. He's the man who takes her hand and leads her somewhere unexpected. He doesn't wait for her to plan the evening. He doesn't ask what she wants to do in a way that signals passivity. He guides He sets the tone. He creates the atmosphere. He might tell her, wear something red. I'll pick you up at 9. That directness, that leadership, that ability to take control of a moment, it doesn't come from insecurity or control. It comes from comfort within himself. And that comfort allows her to relax into her feminine energy, to surrender to the moment, to feel safe yet excited. And that's why, when women cross paths with a man like this, a man who embodies fantasies without trying, who makes her feel rather than just think, they don't easily forget him. He doesn't beg for attention or force connection. He simply triggers the deepest layers of her desire by living in full alignment with his masculine essence. It's not about manipulation. It's not about games. It's about presence, mastery, and the confidence to move through the world unapologetically. That's the real secret. That's why playboys seem to sleep with women effortlessly, because they awaken what most men never touch. Her imagination, her emotion, and her hidden longing to surrender to a man who truly gets it. His confidence also shines in the way he handles rejection, conflict, or emotional intensity. If she tests him, through words, silence, or emotional volatility, he doesn't panic. He doesn't argue just to win. He doesn't chase desperately. He holds his frame. He stays calm. He stays grounded. And that stoic composure communicates something powerful. That he's a man who can handle her emotions without losing himself. That makes her trust him, even if she doesn't fully understand why, because most men react. They get defensive, they get needy. The playboy doesn't. He stays centered, which only deepens her attraction. Even in sex, his confidence is palpable. He's not asking for permission with every touch. He's reading her cues. He's attuned. He leads with a calm dominance that says, I know how to please you, and I'm going to enjoy doing it. He's not insecure about performance, because he's not focused on proving anything. He's present. He's embodied. He's confident enough to slow down, to enjoy the moment, to prioritize her experience as much as his own. And that kind of presence is electric. It's what turns a physical act into something unforgettable. Confidence also allows him to be playful, even vulnerable, without fear. He can crack jokes, poke fun, be irreverent, because he's not afraid of how he's perceived. He can open up, show scars, admit flaws, because he knows it doesn't lessen his worth. That full spectrum masculinity, strength with softness, power with playfulness, is what draws women in and keeps them emotionally engaged. He's not stuck in performance mode. He's himself unapologetically, and that authenticity, paired with unshakable self-belief, becomes the emotional anchor in an otherwise chaotic or uncertain interaction. In a world of insecurity, overcompensation, and emotionally fragile men, a man who knows himself, truly knows himself, is a fantasy, not just because he's confident, but because his confidence allows her to relax. To explore, to feel with him, she doesn't have to play it safe. She can be her full feminine self, because he's already rooted in his full masculine presence. That polarity, that energetic dance, is what creates the spark. The electricity, the obsession, and that all begins with confidence. Not the kind you wear like a mask, but the kind you carry like a birthright.